Alright, this is a C-pillar bar install for a 92 to 95 Honda Civic hatchback. Kind of a pain in the ass to install. Don't really recommend cutting too much stuff because you don't want to mess up your interior panels. The easiest way that I found to do it was right here on this shock. There's this little clip. You want to take that off like that, and then very carefully remove the rear hatch shock. Be sure to have a pair of vice grips or some kind of shock clamp and put it over here on this side so the hatch doesn't fall and hit you in the head. And then I used a crescent wrench for all of this. Take this bolt out so you're able to remove this panel, pull it back. And what I did is I took a 17mm socket, is what you'll need to remove that bolt right there for your seat belt. Once you get this panel off, what I did was put the socket, 17mm socket, on that bolt inside this panel. It's easiest to do, whenever you take all this stuff out, your rear cargo cover, and then you're going to want to take off this panel here. There should be a few clips on the inside. There's a clip here, a clip here, there's one clip up here, and another clip back here. Disconnect all of those. Once you get all that done, what I did is set the socket right here on the inside, put the panel back over it, and use the crescent wrench and kind of hit this a little bit, and you should be able to see like a perfect circle outline, so you know basically where to start cutting. Once you get your circle outline, I used a Dremel with just a regular cutting tool, and cut that out, and then I had to use the grinding bit to make the hole the size that it is now. You want it about 2 inches all the way around, so this bracket right here can sit in there. You're going to want to repeat that same step for this side over here on this side as well. Once you have that completed, make sure that these brackets right here, these brackets right there, this bracket is sitting straight. If it's angled any direction, your seat belt might not work. The C-pillar bar may not sit straight. And of course, over here do the same thing. There's another little clip right here. Remove the shock, same thing. Put the vice grips over here to hold this side up once you connect this side back. I recommend not to tighten anything down completely until everything is in place and you've mocked it up. Once you get that done, it's pretty much pretty easy after that. Get everything set in there. When you're actually putting the C-pillar bar in, you're going to need to take everything off, and all you're going to want to put on there is just this bracket on both sides. This bracket and that bracket. Once that's set in there, you take your C-pillar bar, you set it in place, and then loosen these up, these nuts right here, loosen these up, and extend the C-pillar bar to the proper settings so it lines up here, in here, so you can slide these Allens through there. And like I said, I just used a crescent wrench and an Allen wrench and tighten these down. Once that's all tight, make sure your seatbelt sits straight, because if it doesn't sit straight, it's not going to work. Your seatbelt's not going to work. this is the easiest way that I found to do this. The other guy that made a video, you can't hear anything that he says because the music is playing in the background. It didn't help me at all. I had to research on a couple forums how to do this, and there's a lot of people who just cut all of this completely out. I like to keep my stuff clean. I just wanted to make it big enough for this bracket to come through. I kind of messed up a little bit right here and here, but like I said, once you get this hole here, start from that and then make it about 2 inches wide until this bracket can move freely inside of that hole. So you can put the bolt in place like that. Sits pretty flush. Tighten it down. It works good. It's pretty solid. Doesn't really go anywhere. Same thing on this side. Now, I suggest don't force, because I left the socket in there whenever I was cutting it. I suggest not to force it through, because if you do, that's what happens. Stuff tends to break. And that kind of pissed me off, because I wanted it to look nice and clean. But, yeah, that's success right there. And it cracked right here at the top. So, hopefully this helps you out. I had to do a little bit of research how to do this. The other guy wasn't very helpful. So I figured that I could help y'all out with this. And when you put these shocks back on, this little clip right here goes into a little hole right here on the side of the shock. Slides into a little hole that keeps it from falling out, and you just clip it back in place like that. Double check, make sure it's not going to come back off. And yeah, that's pretty much it on how to install a C-pillar bar on a 92 through 95 Honda Civic hatchback. It's not as easy as the coupes, because the coupes, the seat belts are exposed. A lot of other people will tell you that to use a circular drill bit, like for cutting out doorknob holes. I didn't use that. I just used a Dremel for all of it. Oh, and also be careful if you're cutting it with a Dremel. The plastic is very hot if it hits your skin. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Like the video, subscribe to it. Let me know what you think. Tell me if it was helpful or not. And yeah, let me know if you have any questions. Alright, later.